Welcome back to the 99. My friend just messaged me asking if we're doing a video. Yes, we are doing a video right now. So, we're going to be talking about a pretty intense topic today. But I also, it's one of the ones that I found super interesting. Because it's
a lot to it.
It's happening, now, today.
Yeah, it's really relevant.
Yeah. So, we do want to talk about that, but I wanted to kind of mention something first because I'm a little proud of myself. Remember I mentioned last time that I'm trying to finish the New Testament by the end of the year. I actually finished it yesterday, and when I finished it, when I finished it, I literally just immediately prayed, and I started kind of tearing up and stuff, and then I got hit with this massive wave of I could actually feel heaven and the holy angels cheering for me. Mm-hmm. It was like a physical feeling that I could actually feel the fact that they were proud of me, and I was just weeping last night. I was crying so hard. I was I was super emotional for 30 minutes or something, 45 minutes. And I was just dude, why am I crying so hard? But that's the Spirit.
That's awesome.
And I was, so super excited. The New Testament's done. Yay. 10/24/24 is my date, which is easy to remember. Mm-hmm. So now on to the New Testament. Yeah. And we'll see how long that takes. I'm trying to, I was reading for 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, you can read a lot in that amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows, maybe by spring might be done. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Just wanted to take a little second to talk about that because I felt a sense of holy pride when I finished that.
That's awesome.
I think that's something we are allowed to be proud of. You can be proud and boast about God and boast about, that kind of stuff. I feel like it's okay. So I wanted to talk about that because I was super excited that I did that. It's not something I ever thought I would ever do because I was somebody who didn't think I would ever read the Bible. Period. Ever. I've read parts of it, but I never thought I was going to read the whole thing. And so to finish the whole New Testament, I was just oh man, I feel so proud of myself right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But,
and for those of you who are maybe feeling the same, you should always look for the Bible in a year plans to do because it's really awesome. And it's good if you can have a few people doing it at once. That's what we kind of did. Mm-hmm. So and then you just can talk about it at any time. Call each other up or whatever. Anyway, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like every time I find something interesting, I'm always sending you voice notes. Oh my gosh, did you hear what I just read?
Yeah.
I
know it's pretty cool.
Pretty crazy. Neat. Yeah. There's some laughs and some tears and some shocking moments where you're whoa.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many different feelings that you get when you read it, even bouncing around kind of to the New Testament. When I was reading in Exodus a little while ago, we were reading about how when they were traveling through the desert for 40 years, and God gave them that manna from heaven, that special heavenly food that he gave them. And I was reading in it, and there's a part where they talk about when we were in Egypt and we had leeks and onions and all these different things and we had a bunch of different variety, and now all we have is this manna stuff. And they're basically complaining, and I was laughing so hard. I was these people are literally complaining. It's so funny. It's just there's a bunch of different emotions that you get when you read it. It's not just all serious.
No.
There's some laughs. There's some
you said, it's
shocking.
Like a story. It's literally like a story, and you can visually see it.
It's the New Testament is basically like a giant journal.
Yeah.
And but it's just there's sadness, happiness. Like you feel anger towards some passages, when they're being mean to him and all this kind of stuff, and then you get these shocking moments with Judas, and then you get the laughs with the manna and stuff. It's just I don't know, there's a bunch of different emotions you get, and it's just I don't know.
Definitely.
It's more enjoyable to read than I thought. But I do think the version of the Bible that you get makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because for me
Definitely.
at least, The King James is really hard to understand. I'm not saying don't read that one.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you come across words that you don't understand and you're like, what? Because like, you know, last time when we were reading and like it, like yours said, like sinews and whatever, and mine said ligaments and
joints.
whatever and the joints. And so it's just, all it's doing is making it easier for you to understand it. So, you know, there's a bunch of different translations. You can pick around which ones you feel like would be easier for you. Because when you can understand fully what it's saying, it makes reading like so much more enjoyable, and like you want to read it because you're not confused.
Yeah,
you know?
I just think first time should get something easily to read, and then of course always have like, I mean, it's always best to get a King James version as well.
I have one too. I just like once I started reading, actually reading, I kind of switched and got this one. And now every once in a while I'll compare verses, but for the most part I stick in this one because it's just easier for me. So.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think that too.
But anyways, so today we are talking about Bible prophecy and the one world religion. Does the Bible actually mention a one world religion? Yes, it does. And it's going to be scary because it's going to be mandated. It's not like a choice that you have now where you have freedom of religion. It's not going to be that way.
Yeah, I don't think people fully understand, you know, because, well, and it's kind of like how they were saying people don't understand like what communism even is like. And it's literally just like that, having a one world religion, you know, that's why
you kind of have to do what they tell you.
Yeah. You do not have a it's either do it or die. Do it or we'll starve you, and you know, I mean, literally, you know, you're selling your soul if communism and one world religion comes, you know, you have to make a choice.
So we're not trying to tell you who to vote for, but this is an important year.
Yeah.
And whatever you choose is either we continue how we're going now and get worse and go downhill, or we get a little bit of grace for a while, because that's all I'm going to say. We're not going to get political, but that's all I'm saying is this is an important year. And if you don't want to skyrocket towards a one world religion right now, you might want to do a little research and be careful who you vote for.
Democracy, your rights, your freedoms, it all matters.
Yep. And the second you give up a little bit, they're just going to run with it and take it all. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you got to be really, this can't be something you can just be like, I don't care, whatever, it's just whatever. You can't do that, or you're going to regret it when your whole life is completely different and then it's too far gone and there's nothing you can do about it. That's where this is going. So
for sure.
And it's in the Bible, it's prophesied on. So it will eventually happen. But if we want it to happen, you know, well, it's not really our choice, I guess. But I mean,
I know.
You know, the Bible does say that if a nation repents and turns against its wicked ways, that He will forgive that nation. And so, if you know, if we have a president that is God-fearing and, you know, praises God and prays and loves God and reads the Bible and all that stuff, you know, we will be in a better spot for, you know, our country to be forgiven and maybe last a little longer, you know, before this one world religion and all the prophecy and the revelation starts, because it will eventually happen. So when things start to go downhill and it seems like it's out of control to us, it's not really out of control. It's mentioned in Revelation. It is mentioned in here that things will start to get really bad. But I mean, it doesn't have to happen right now. And it's up to God when it happens. And so if He sees that, you know, people are trying to be better, we're trying to do whatever, like He might be graceful and give us more time, you know. So it's just, it's important to
and Revelations wasn't there to scare.
No,
it's there to make you aware. And to be conscious and aware of it.
That's what Tiff says all the time.
It's hard to, you know, because we're fleshly beings, and
it's hard not to have emotion,
you know, and it's hard not to be fearful of things you read that are so horrific.
Some stuff is scary,
but it is, it is just, you know, there to make us aware and
well,
be able to see the signs and prepare. Really, you know.
If you read Revelation, you will know exactly what's coming, and you will know how to look at it and avoid it and spot it and see like, oh, that's what this is, and I'm not going to do that, and ooh, that's the person they're talking about. It's important to read it. That's how I started reading the Bible, actually, is because I said to myself, if I'm not going to read a book if I'm not going to read the whole Bible, I have to at least read Revelation. That's the feeling that I got. Yeah. And so that's the first book in the Bible I read, was the last one, because I don't want to say it's the most important, because I mean, it's all important, but I mean, it's the most relevant to now.
Well, and not only that, but people are constantly saying, this is a conspiracy theory. That's not true. This isn't going to happen. No monetary system. Blah blah blah. That we're just
happening.
It's literally written. It is in here.
Prophesied on thousands of years ago that it was going to happen.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's written in the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, even just recently with there's a scripture that talks about how how God will make rivers appear in the desert. And just recently, there has been these geyser rivers shooting out of the desert and flooding the which desert? What was it? Do you remember? I don't remember.
No, but I don't remember.
Flooding the Sahara Desert. I think it was wow. It's flooding. It's that's a prophecy too. I will make rivers in the desert. Yep. It says. Absolutely. And this stuff is happening.
Yeah, there's always something that a lady I watch. And follow. She's always saying, pray, prep, be peaceful. And that's such a wise, I love that. That's what we should be doing. Praying, prepping, and be peaceful.
And how you prep is by reading.
Yeah.
And something that Tiff says too that I like is Bible prophecy isn't meant to scare us. It's meant to prepare us. So yeah, we just have to be prepared, and
even prepping in the other sense, because if things like this were to happen, you want to be ready. Even if it's not going to happen in Tennessee and North Carolina with the hurricane. Some of those people were prepped up for something, to happen, and some weren't. But at least the ones who were able to help the ones who weren't. It's also there to help your neighbor and everything too. So I think can be an all-encompassing things. I really believe in both. Yeah. As far as prepping for, I think we should all prep a little bit. Yep. Yeah.
Spiritually and physically. Yep.
Because that's the first thing they're gonna starve us out. Is and we'll get into it because it's literally here.
Yeah. So we're gonna start at the top because we keep jumping around. So okay.
We're
basically, squirreling off. That's what we should call ourselves. Is we should change the channel again to Spiritual Squirrels. What about that?
Yeah.
Vote down below if we should change us to Spiritual Squirrels. That's our name now.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so basically what we're trying to say is the stage is actively being set right now for the end days. We are in the end days, but the actual final time, the stage is being set already. The Bible clearly prophesies on it that the one world religion headquarters is already been built, and it was inaugurated in February of 2023. It's called they said that it was the global place of worship for all. And that is the one world religion headquarters. So that's something you can look up as well. February 2023, it was inaugurated. So this is starting.
And it's in the UAE.
The what?
The United Arab Emirates.
Oh, yes.
It's there. Abrahamic something house?
Yeah. The Abrahamic family house.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Yeah. Memory. Telling you, it gets sharper when you...
Yeah. And it's shocking. And that doesn't mean that it's going to start there or anything. So,
So there is something that I wanted to mention about this one world religion starting. I'm sure I'm going to have some friends that are Mormon or LDS that watch this. I was raised that, and I am not anymore. I haven't been to that church since I was 18. I'm just Christian. I am, been born again, all that fun stuff. But anyways, there is a Mormon temple, which shocked me when I saw that, because that's the last thing that I would have thought. But they are even doing the same. The Feather River, California temple, so that's where it is. It's in California, and it's called the Feather River, California temple. They are welcoming Hindus and Sikhs in harmony, they claim, but that's wrong. Okay, so I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I know. I know it's...
But that's wrong. It's setting the stage to normalize the coming one world religion, but you only worship one God. And so gathering in a place where people that also worship, many gods and goddesses, like the Hindus worship their supreme god Brahma, and there is a statue of that, deity.
Yeah.
And the Sikhs, they worship a god that they referred to as Weguru. It is a genderless god. Sikhs also believe that everyone is equal before God, and Christians shouldn't be sharing a worship space with people that believe those things. Yikes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it's starting. They're already, and it'll make more sense when we read the Revelation verse what we're talking about. But yeah, it's definitely happening, and it's like out in the open. Like they're not even hiding it.
Yeah.
You can openly see what's happening. So.
Wow.
So we're going to start we're going to, I think, pretty much stay, right?
Yeah, in a lot of Revelation.
In a lot of Revelation, because that's where, there's some in Matthew, but there's, it's mostly Revelation because that's where prophecy is mostly.
And pretty long readings and verses. So.
Yeah, but it's interesting. You're going to want to hear it. Trust me, it'll blow your absolute mind.
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of wondering how our books are going to, our Bibles are going to be different.
Compare?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
to see.
If there's any differences, or not differences, but
it's becoming
if there's anything that stands out as like different terminology, we'll say. Okay. Okay. So I don't know. Should I read the first one?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna read. We're gonna start in Revelation 13, and we're gonna read verse 1 through 8 first. So it says, "Then I saw a beast rising up out of the sea. It had 7 heads and 10 horns, with 10 crowns on its horns. And written on each head were names that blasphemed God. The beast looked like a leopard, but it had the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion." Now, all of this is like, symbolic. There's not an actual creature, I don't think, that looks like this.
No, in fact, he says sea equals nations, beast is the Antichrist.
Yeah, well, and here, this next thing says, and the dragon, which the dragon, it says, is Satan.
Yep.
So they're figurative.
Yes.
It's not an actual animal that has leopard and bear and lion body parts. It's symbolic of things. And it says, and the dragon, Satan, gave the beast his own power and throne and great authority. I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. Remember how one of the last times we kind of mentioned how that's not Trump because he didn't die?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a fatal head wound. It says the whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. They worshipped the dragon, Satan, for giving the beast, which is the Antichrist, such power that they also worshipped the beast. "Who is as great as the beast?" they exclaimed. "Who is able to fight against him?" Then the beast was allowed to speak great blasphemies against God, and he was given authority to do whatever he wanted for 42 months. So 42 months is 3.5 years. That's half of the tribulation. So the tribulation is 7 years long, and half of 7 is 3.5. So he was given authority to do whatever he wanted for 3.5 years. So it's going to be a rough time. And he spoke terrible words of blasphemy against God, slandering his name and his dwelling, so the temple. That is, those who dwell in heaven. So he was slandering his name and his dwelling. that is those who dwell in heaven. And let's see, does it go through 8? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
8.
And the beast was allowed to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And he was given authority to rule over every tribe. He was given the authority to rule over every tribe and language and nation. So he's going to have authority over globally everybody. It specifies over all people, languages, and nations.
Yep.
Nobody's getting out of it, okay? Which means it would affect America too. It's not just going to be like Israel and Syria. It's going to be
Yes,
it's
all the
going
people
to be
in the world.
everybody, global. Let's see, and all the people who belong to this world worshipped the beast. So I think this means that when it says the people that belong to this world is like people that aren't of God. The people that belong to this world, that they're worried about what the world is and they're like looking at worldly things, they're going to be the ones that worship the beast because they're not They're not godly. They're not. So it's and all the people who belong to this world, right? That don't belong to God, they belong to the world. Worshipped the beast. They are the ones whose names were not written in the book of life that belongs to the Lamb who was slaughtered before the world was made. So, yeah. And the next verse actually just says, anyone who with ears to hear should listen and understand.
Yeah, I thought we should include that too. And I was like, well, let's just...
Yeah, so anyways, that is very specific. This says that the devil will give power to the Antichrist, who will be able to do whatever he wants globally for 3.5 years. Whatever he wants. He's in charge.
Can you imagine?
That's going to be scary
So
stuff.
they literally would have to... How can one person...
Well, it's going to be one world... It's
not
just a one world religion. It's a one world monetary system, one world military.
That's how they're going to do it.
We're going to have military in the streets,
not
enforcing
just
curfew and all kinds of stuff.
Every other nation's, every other country's military. Suppose
they're all going to be together.
All going to be one.
Because So why Tiff says that this is going to start happening is so he teaches from the pre-trib point of view, which 90% of me still believes that that's when it's going to happen, right? Is before all the chaos of the tribulation. And so why he thinks that this one world religion and one world government is going to be basically like asked and begged for is because the rapture is going to take place. Everything can you imagine what's going to happen when billions of people disappear? Yeah. There's going to be chaos everywhere. Like all the places where people work are going to, have problems. There's going to be planes crashing because pilots get taken. There's going to be it's going to be chaos everywhere. Mass chaos, and there's going to be people like begging, please, can somebody take over? Can there just be somebody who takes over for everybody? And they're going to beg for it. And and that's how it's going to start. Is people are going to want to have some sort of like control because it's going to be wildness. And when it happens, they're not realizing that wanting that is going to like be their demise, basically. That is how they usher in the Antichrist. That's how it's going to happen. Absolutely. So there's a lot of people saying that all religions are equal and many paths lead to God, which Tiff has a good saying too, which I love this.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
With Arizona? Yeah, okay. So he says, the people that say all paths lead to God, all paths lead to heaven, whatever, like, he's like, okay, say you're going on a road trip, say that you live, here where we live in Alaska, okay? If you go north, is that like, even if you go north, will you eventually get to Arizona? Do all roads lead to Arizona? Right. No. You have to go east to Canada, down south, to Washington.
Yeah, there's a mapping system. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't
all roads all roads don't lead to Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, that was a perfect analogy.
Yeah. Not all roads lead to God either. Correct. Not all roads lead to heaven. You have to follow a specific path. Mm-hmm. It says in the Bible, the path to heaven is narrow and straight, and few there be that find it. But the road to hell is broad and wide, and many there be that are on that path. It's a narrow, it's called a narrow road for a reason. It is, you know, like you feel like in The Chosen, you you feel like you're going against the current. There's all these people going one way, and there's like 2 or 3 people going this way. Yeah. And it's like, you know, even though there's less people going this way, that's the right way. You know, so not all paths, not all religions are equal and don't lead to God. Yeah. That's not true. So I wrote down that Arizona thing. I didn't think I did. I love that little thing you said. That's a perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, it really is.
So, let's see. Yeah, not all roads lead to Arizona, and not all roads lead to God.
Do we both have the next one written down the same?
Matthew 7.
Oh,
that's what I have. What do you have?
Revelation 17.
Oh, that's down here. So you skipped this one, I guess. It's down here on my notes, a little further. I have Matthew first.
That's interesting. Matthew. I have it here. Okay. I know. Okay. So yeah, that's the. Hopefully, he didn't have more than one video on that. He has multiples on a couple of them, which is interesting.
Matthew 7, verses 13 and 14 is what I have. Maybe that's just a extra one I wrote down. I don't know.
Okay.
Or do you have it?
I have Matthew 16, 18.
Maybe this was an extra one I wrote down for some reason.
No, well, let's see. It's all right.
Okay. I'll just read this really fast. Yeah. So it says, you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and I just said that. Okay, so maybe that's why you wrote that. Yeah. It says the highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the way to life is very narrow. The road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. I did pretty good for kind of just quoting that from memory. But why I wrote that down is just because it kind of is it like goes with, you know, the fact that not all paths lead to it clearly says the straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. So so where does the Bible prophesy about a one world religion? So we go back to Revelation 13. And we kind of start where we left off. We go 5 through 15.
5 through 15?
Oh, wait.
He just mentioned 5, but he was throwing me off on some of these when I was listening to him. Like I said, he was bouncing around a little bit.
Well, you can start where I left off.
So you've got 13:5, right? Revelation 13:5.
Yeah, but I already read those. So you can, maybe you can start, remember how it says, and anyone with ears to hear should understand and listen? That's 9. So maybe you can start at 9 and go
But where are you at? 1 through 8? Or, wait, 13.
He just said to read it again for some reason. Like, well, this last, so we did 1 through 8 or something the first time.
And we've already talked about Revelations 13:5. I have Revelation 17, 1 through 18 next. I don't know where the rest of them are at.
Chapter 13 is first, so we should do 13 and then 17. Like, let's just keep going like the...
But I don't have any more in that one. You must have more. I only have Revelation 13, 1 through 8, and then it goes 13:5. That's all I have there.
I'll just finish this piece really fast then. And you can,
because I'm not even...
Okay.
Sure.
We watch the videos separately and we take our own notes.
Yes.
So sometimes they're not exactly the same. So
Yeah.
okay. So I'm just gonna start where I left off. So Revelation 13:10 says, "Anyone who is destined for prison will be taken to prison. Anyone destined to die by the sword will die by the sword."
Mm-hmm.
This means that God's holy people must endure persecution patiently and remain faithful. Mm-hmm. Then I saw another beast come up out of the earth. He had 2 horns like those of a lamb, but he spoke with the voice of a dragon. So this is talking about the Antichrist, and he's speaking with the voice of Satan, it says, with the voice of a dragon. He exercised all the authority of the first beast, and he required all the earth and its people to worship the first beast. So this is where the religion's coming in, okay? He required all the earth and its people, to worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. He did astounding miracles, even making fire flash down to the earth from the sky while everyone was watching. So he's going to be able to do counterfeit signs and wonders to deceive people that aren't aware. With all the miracles he was allowed to perform on behalf of the first beast, he deceived all the people who belong to this world. He ordered the people to make a great statue of the first beast who was fatally wounded, and the statue came to life. He was permitted to give life to this statue so that it could speak. Then the statue of the beast commanded that anyone refusing to worship it must die. So this is enforced religion. You have to worship the beast and his statue or they'll kill you. Yeah, so that's not good stuff. Yeah, and it says all the world, so it's everybody. There's going to be no like favoritism.
Right.
Let's see. The Antichrist will declare himself to be God, and he will sit in the temple and basically say that he is God, and mandate and enforce the religion. And if you don't do it, you'll lose your life. Yeah. So it's not going to be a choice, guys. It's not something you can choose to not do. You either have to be off grid somewhere in a cave and living where nobody can find you, or if they find you and they tell you to bow down to this thing and you say no, like you're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds brutal, but that's what it is. It is brutal. It is. That's why it says like, the people who belong to him must like persevere, because it says this means that God's holy people must endure persecution patiently and remain faithful, because it's going to be a time of testing. But if the pre-trib rapture is what's actually happening, hopefully it'll happen before this and we won't be here.
Yeah, so. For sure. So when I was taking these notes, he made 4 points, and I kind of just followed the 4 points and was trying to go with them. So maybe that's why our notes are out. So where does it prophesy the OWR is what the 13:1 through 8. So Revelation 13:1 through 8 was that answer. That's where it prophesies that, and she just read most of that. I just kind of got confused with what was next. Okay. But and then it says, what will they believe? When will it emerge? And who will lead this? So that's kind of what we were covering. I have those points
too.
I think we kind of forgot to mention that, though, when we first started.
Oh, that there's 4 points?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
So maybe we should, we were going to hit on 4 points because we're kind of bouncing around, so maybe just so they know that,
sorry. The first one that I was talking about was where does the Bible prophesy about the one world religion? So it is prophesied about in Revelation 13.
Yes.
So that's where that is. Sorry.
1 through 8, but and then the rest that was all just read. That's where it has everything about this.
So the second point is, what will the one world religion believe? And it's a longer passage. I don't know if you want to split it. Because look, I have to split it if you want to.
That would be good.
Do you want to split it? Okay.
Yeah, because we could do 1 through 9 and 9 through 18 or something.
Sure.
Want to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
So this is Revelation. Now we're in chapter 17.
Yes.
And do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I was just going to mention, because he said a great harlot or prostitute. Like, he literally mentioned that. So, I don't know, just keep it in mind, like...
Literally, the Bible talks about, I don't remember exactly where it is in Revelation, but it talks about how that person wears scarlet, purple, and pearls and all this stuff. I'm not saying, but look up the picture of Kamala getting sworn in. She is literally in purple with pearls and gold jewelry like it's described. I'm just saying.
Right.
When the Bible tries to warn you, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I'll start it then.
Okay.
All
right.
right.
So you're going to do
1 through 9.
9? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do 1 through 9. All right. So one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute, who sits by many waters. With the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, where I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple, there you go, and scarlet, and was glittering with the gold, precious stones, and pearls.
I'm just saying, that's what her picture looks like. Look up her picture where she's being sworn in. Look at it.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
And it was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things, and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery. Mine has this thing here that says Babylon, the great mother of prostitutes.
Mine says that
and
too.
the abominations of the earth. Okay,
Yes,
it was just in bold. Okay.
Yep. So that's what's on her forehead is Babylon, the great mother of all prostitutes.
All right. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of God's
It's so funny because she looks drunk every time she talks too. It's so crazy. She's always blitzed out of her mind.
Pretty freaky.
I'm telling you, man. Sorry.
With the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Then the angel said to me, "Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast which you saw was once, now is not, and yet will come out of the abyss and go into its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world will be astonished when they see the beast, because it once was, now is not, and yet will come."
So I wanted to mention something that somebody told me when they were doing their study is because a lot of like all of this is like symbolic talk, right? Like the beast and the dragon and the 10 horns and all that stuff. Like there's not actual creatures with multiple horns, right? Okay. So somebody told me, which is interesting, because there's a lot of people that say that America isn't in the Bible, right? Like, and I agreed that it doesn't seem like it is until somebody told me this, which this is interesting. This might actually be. So it's crazy because it's talking about the woman in purple, right? Scarlet with pearls and gold. Okay. So just down from where it describes her, it says, "There was a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns on which she sits." So this person told me, the Statue of Liberty, how many horns does her crown have?
Yeah.
It has 10. It has 10 horns on the Statue of Liberty's crown. And let's see, where's the one where it talks about that she like sits on the water even? Where is that? Where does it say that?
It's probably in
Oh, here it is. It's on
Okay.
verse 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Says-
probably in there.
Yeah, so it says, then the angel said to me, the waters where the prostitute is ruling represent the masses of people in every nation and language. So the Statue of Liberty sits on the water.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting because
Very.
it literally sounds like it could be talking about like America and the Statue of Liberty and all that stuff. It could be that.
Definitely.
I don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it could be.
All right, one more little row here. 9. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. Okay, there you go. 10.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Wow.
yeah, interesting stuff.
Very. That's a lot of information.
Yeah. Okay, so then I'll take over and go down through 18.
Yep.
Okay. 5 kings have already fallen. The 6th now reigns, and the 7th is yet to come. But his reign will be brief. Maybe that's talking about Trump and his brief reign. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Interesting.
That just clicked. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Wow.
We thought about that the same moment, I guess, because it literally did the same.
5 kings have already fallen. The 6th now reigns, and the 7th is yet to come. And his reign will be brief.
I sure hope not. Oh
Yeah, I hope not either.
Wow.
The Scarlet Beast was, hold on. The Scarlet Beast that was, but is no longer, is the 8th king. He is like the other 7, and he too is headed for destruction. The 10 horns of the beast are 10 kings who have not yet risen to power. Now, when this was written, this was in like 90 something AD, right?
Yeah.
So this was a long time ago. So when it says that these people have not yet risen to power, this was like way back when. So
Yes.
some of those people have actually come to power since then, I'm assuming. They will be appointed to their kingdoms for one brief moment to reign with the beast. They will all agree to give him their power and authority. Together they will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them because he is Lord of all lords and King of all kings. And his called and chosen and faithful ones will be with him. Then the angel said to me, the waters where the prostitute is ruling represents the masses of people, every nation and language. The scarlet beast and his 10 horns will hate the prostitute. They will strip her naked, eat her flesh, and burn her remains with fire. Wow. For God has put a plan into their minds, a plan that will carry out his purposes. They will all agree to give their authority to the scarlet beast, and to the words of God will be fulfilled. And this woman you saw in your vision represents the great city that rules over the kings of the world.
Wow.
So,
It's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot and it's heavy.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, if you really want to understand Revelation,
Excuse me.
like I said, we watched Tiff Shuttlesworth's videos, and he really dives deep and explains Revelation and the rest of the Bible actually too very well. But we watch his videos and take notes. So essentially, you're kind of hearing the same stuff. We have different commentary than he does, but I mean, it's the same message that we're giving. So
Yeah.
Let's see.
He kind of touched on this again, though. Like, he had us read, like, he gave us that message, and then he said again, verses 2 and 3, he said these will be the traits, these will be the characters.
Sexual perversions.
Yeah.
And they will be aligned with what
Drunk
the
with blood.
one world
Yeah.
religion and the Antichrist will go along with what they're saying.
Thousands martyred, but some will be systematically starved. This is, again... Yeah.
I mean, there's already sexual perversions happening right now, especially in America. Like with the LGBTQ, like there's literally drag queens that are reading to kids in the
and all the
schools
stuff
and
going on
It's
with
like,
Epstein, Diddy, and all the other stuff.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
The thing is, it's becoming normalized. They're normalizing this
Ungodly
behavior.
behaviors.
They are
being
normalizing. They want to change. That we can't call a PEDO anymore. You know, some things we can't say. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
YouTube,
age fluid or some trash.
There are some words that literally can take a video down. So I don't even know. I know.
Yeah, we're trying to be careful. I mean, we're not monetized.
Yeah, it's just still they're very, you know, and that's not that we can't live in a world like that. You know, things are good and things are bad. There is good and there is evil. Things are right and things are wrong.
Isn't there a scripture that says that like they will make good sound evil and evil sound good? Like there's literally and that's what's happening.
The thing is they're using words like inclusive and you know, and they're making it sound like the thing is we're getting told you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a bully, you're
you can
whatever.
You can love the sinner and hate the sin. You can so like, you know, I have some people that I care for that are part of LGBTQ or whatever. Yeah. And it's like you can still love those people, but not necessarily love what they're doing. Right. You know, like Exactly. But trying to normalize it that's where the problem is.
It is. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna normalize it and that's where all this progressiveness comes from, and it just leads to destruction.
They call it progressiveness, right? And that's
because of the choice words, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Many will refuse. Wow. Let's see. It says many will refuse and be saved, but it might cost their lives. Yeah. So that's with the Yeah, for sure. For being able to starve, not able to buy food or, you know.
And that's where also I feel that other prep word comes in. That's why it is good. You know.
Having some food storage is good. Of some kind.
And it's still, again, it's another crazy thing where, you know, if you prep, oh my gosh, you're such a conspiracy, you know.
Meanwhile, there's rich people that are building like bomb shelters.
Yeah, don't let them fool you.
Yeah, they're planning too. But so let's see. Revelation 7 is I have too. Do you have that or no?
7:9. Yeah.
Revelation 7 verses 13 and 14. Did I already read that or no? No, I did not.
I just have Revelation 7:9. I don't know where the other.
Let's see.
That's all I've got on that one. It's short.
Maybe I have that on the back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, back here. So
what's the other part?
Revelation 7, 13 through 14.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. So
we need to do 9 and then 13 and 14.
Is that chapter 9?
No, Revelation 7. Isn't that what you said?
No, mine says Revelation 12:9. I have that back there. How are we getting different?
I don't know, but you just said Revelation 7:9. I don't know.
It says 12:9 on the back. I'm not sure. Huh.
This is super weird.
I mean, we can just read them all.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. 13. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to read Revelation 7, 13 and 14 first. So it says, then one of the 24 elders asked me, who are these that are clothed in white? Where did they come from? And I said to him, Sir, you are the one who knows. And he said to me, these are the ones who died in the great tribulation. They have washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb and made them white.
And I think that's why he did do 9 as well, because it talks about the whole thing. Yep. I don't know. That is so strange.
It's like you missed some and I missed some. Like, how's that happening?
I don't know.
Huh. I'm usually pretty diligent on my notes. I don't know. So one of the things he talked about was the URI. It stands for the United Religions Initiative, and it was founded in 2000. And their website says, this is a quote, The purpose of the United Religions Initiative is to promote enduring daily interfaith cooperation, to end religiously motivated violence, and to create cultures of peace, justice, and healing for the earth for all living beings. So they're trying to make it sound like it's all, good stuff. But
Yeah.
when it gets forced, it's not going to be.
Yeah. Oh, and we just talked about that. The false religion of the last days. Yep. Inclusive of all types of people. Pluralistic view. Yeah. That's crazy.
So as you can see, the stage is now being set. During the 7-year tribulation, this is something that will be mandated and enforced forcefully. It's not going to be a choice, like we said. The One World Religion headquarters was inaugurated February 16th of 2023 to provide a global place of worship called the Abrahamic Family House, like we said in the beginning. It sounds peaceful, but it's not. We need to worship only one God. It says no one comes to the Father except by me, so there's only one way. Multiple paths don't lead to him.
The reason they chose Abraham is because Abraham is considered to be the first Jew, the traditionally the first Jew to have made a covenant with God. So, but Judaism, Islam, and Christianity all recognize and embrace Abraham as the first prophet. So that's why they are trying to make it all one by saying, well, Abraham is in Christianity, is in, Islam, is in Judaism. So they're trying to entice people with that.
And part of where it gets dangerous too is how we mentioned in one of the other videos too, is that I think it was the one where like how Jesus is like 4 reasons why he's famous or something. All of those other religions, they recognize Jesus as a prophet. They all recognize him as some sort of a prophet. And so, trying to like twist it in and bring it all in to be like, oh, like it's all the same, like we think he's a prophet too and all this stuff. It's like, no, you don't think of him the same way that we do.
Yeah. And he did make it a point to say that they'll put those words in it, but nowhere in what they're enticing people with where will it include the verses of John 4:16 and Acts 4:12.
Yeah.
No, 14:16.
Oh, 14.
John 14:16 is what he said.
16 or 6?
Or 14:6, sorry. Okay. John 14:6, which is Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. But they will not include those verses. That will not be in the one world religions, in their... And then Acts 4:12. Let's see. He said...
How did I miss that?
Salvation is found in no one else, because it's the same. For there is no other name under heaven given to mankind which must be saved. So...
You can't get saved by Buddha. You can't get saved by Brahma. You can't get saved by anything else.
Yeah. The Bible does not allow interfaith dialogue. So.
And literally, one of the 10 commandments is you shouldn't worship any other gods before him, and you can't have false idols. You can't have any of that.
Yeah.
And those other religions have those, and it's just not good.
And they're actually it's showing it. He said also that, they're promoting the view that there are multiple paths, which we talked about as far as like the Arizona analogy, that will lead to God. It's a political view and a world view and a secular view that's being taught. And it's being taught now at university campuses around the world that all who sincerely seek truth eventually find it. That is what they're promoting.
All who seek truth find it. No, it depends on where you're seeking.
Do you know that you know how people are like, well, it's my truth, your truth, this,
Yeah.
you know, that's the language that, and those things
it's
become
literally
trigger
just
words.
with it's like they do it under the guise of like trying not to offend anyone.
Exactly.
And it's like, dude, the Bible is offensive. If you're it really is. The Bible will offend you if you're not doing what Jesus and God want you to do. It will be offensive.
Hurts.
Yes.
The truth is not always the fun, So people will walk around and like, that's my truth. Your truth's not my truth. I am so over that. Like, it's one of my pet peeves, honestly. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Because it is one of my pet peeves. It drives me insane. And I love that he mentioned it because I'm like, well, yeah. Well, I'm not entirely wrong. So.
So, when will it emerge was point number 3. I mean, basically, it's already been starting. Yep. So, it's just going to be enforced later, which is when people are going to regret what they're doing right now. The next one I have is Matthew 24:24. I found in reading the whole New Testament that Matthew was one of my favorite books. Matthew is so detailed. And kind of like in The Chosen, they make him seem like really detail oriented and like almost like neurotic with how he writes stuff down. And it's like when you compare the books, his definitely has the most detail.
Yeah. I think he was actually, I mean, I the way they portray him is like he's in high functioning, on the spectrum. So
could
which
be.
So
his massive attention to detail makes sense. He would be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
Could be. So Matthew 24:24, that says, for false messiahs and false prophets will rise up and perform great signs and wonders so as to deceive, if possible, even God's chosen ones. So there will be, like it says, false messiahs and false teachers and prophets that will perform great signs and wonders. And if people aren't aware of, like what Revelation says about like the Antichrist and all that stuff, that they're going to fall victim to that because they're going to see all these crazy signs of like the Antichrist, like making fire flash down from heaven. And they're going to be like, praise him because he's able to do that. And he's a holy being. And it's like, no, it says in the Bible for 3.5 years, he can do whatever he wants.
And the false prophet is what Tiff was saying. He said like a vice president or, like a second in command assistant. That's the prophet that
there's something he says too is literally Satan is always the opposite of whatever Jesus and God are, right? He's the opposite of so there's Christ and then there's the Antichrist. There is the word the Holy Trinity is not even mentioned in the Bible, but we know what it is. It's God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, right? That is the Holy Trinity. So there is an unholy Trinity in Revelation, and that is Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet. That is also a Trinity, and it is the opposite of. It is the unholy Trinity.
Right.
And so that's the dragon, the first beast and the second beast, which is the Antichrist and the false prophet.
That is where she's saying that's who will lead.
Yep. So it says, even to deceive the very elect. So basically what that's saying is if we're not paying attention, we can, be deceived. And so it's important to read the scripture. It's important to read, like I said, even if nothing else, Revelation. Revelation and the New Testament is like, that's the stuff that's relevant now. It's nice to go back and read the Old Testament too, because there's a bunch of cool stuff in there. Like that's history, but the New Testament is now, and so it's important to know what's happening now. Because if you don't say that people don't read Revelation and they don't ever hear anybody talk about it, like when they start to enforce a one world monetary system, people, which is the mark of the beast. People that don't read and don't know are going to unknowingly take it because they're desperate for their families not to die. And it's but when you do that, you're done. you know, and
Yeah.
it's
as
like,
soon as you bend a knee and as soon as you agree with them, then
Yep.
you will only be protected for a while. Eventually, the fate of them is still the same. They're going to eventually starve everybody, you know, because they want
ultimate
it to only
power.
be them.
Yep. Yeah.
Now I have Revelation 13:11 through 18. Do you have that one written down? Because he mentioned this, and I thought it was a good passage.
Well, I have the
that
first
one?
10 verses first. I have 1 through 10 first.
Okay,
But
got you.
okay,
That is so crazy.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Oh no, I got 13:1 through 10.
Okay.
Okay, I got that one.
You're jumping down too fast.
Strange. Yeah, it was in pink. I got my highlight in pink, and I didn't even notice that was a verse.
Well, the yellow stands out more.
So that'll work.
Okay.
We'll do another half.
Okay. So Revelation 13:1 through 10 tells us that the Antichrist and the rest of the unholy trinity. So that's, like I said, that's the first beast is the Antichrist, and he's the one world leader. The second beast that it mentions is the false prophet, and he works with the first beast. So the false prophet and the Antichrist work together, and they're doing the work of the dragon, which is Satan. So that is the unholy trinity. And Revelation 12:9, for some reason I have too, so I'll just hold on 1 second. Do that first. I'm blown away that I... Wait.
That's so funny. Yeah, Matthew. Did you say Matthew?
I'm like, that literally does not make any sense. What is he talking about synagogues for?
You really are stuck on Matthew.
I guess. He's my favorite. No, Peter's my favorite. I like Matthew and Peter. It has a lot to do with that show, probably. I don't know. The way they portray them. And then, like, when you read it, you can follow along, actually. Like, they are so biblically accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, they do their little side dialogue, but their actual, like, the way that they portray scripture is like when you're reading it and you watch that show, you can follow along with mental images in your head.
If you haven't seen that, you guys really should watch it.
I've seen the whole show 3 full times. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so Revelation 12:9 said this. So this is just confirming that the dragon is Satan, and it says, "This great dragon, the ancient serpent, called the devil or Satan." So when it talks about the false prophet, the Antichrist, and the dragon, it's not an actual dragon. It is says that the dragon is called the ancient serpent, the devil or Satan. So the Antichrist and the false prophet are doing the work of Satan. They are working together, which is super scary. Especially when you read that verse where it talks about literally how for 3.5 years he can do whatever he wants. Do you realize how horrible that's going to be? Yeah. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And when it gets bad enough and God has had enough, that's when the second half of the tribulation comes in and he unleashes wrath and says, enough, enough, you know? Yep. It's like his
literally
anger.
Just like Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, it's... Yeah. So
I wish
well, I'm not going to say anything.
I don't even dare ask what you were saying. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So, I don't know. You said Revelation 13?
Oh, so we've got Revelation 13:1 through 10. You want to read that, and then I'll do 11 through 18?
That's where we started. That's the first thing I ever read was...
No. Wait.
11 through 18, maybe.
You already read the one?
Yeah, that's what I already read.
So it skipped. Okay.
Yeah, so we already read those.
I don't think we did No, we didn't do 11 through 18.
I did the first part where I talked about how
did 1 through 18. We did 1 through 18 on the other one, and split it. But I think you did 13, 1 through 10, I think, something like that. Because that's when we didn't 1 through 10. I think you did Revelation 1 through 10.
Well, because even on 14 it says, and with all the miracles he was allowed to perform on behalf of the beast, he deceived people who belong to this world. So I already read some of it.
I don't remember any of this.
He was permitted to give life to the statue so it could speak. Yeah, I thought I said that. Then he commanded anybody that refuses to worship it must die. The only thing I didn't read was 16 through 18.
Because I didn't even have the, I don't know. I don't think we did 11 through 18.
I mean, yeah, you can do it. It's fine.
I really don't, because I don't have anything. I mean, I remember the 1 through 18. Guys, we had a lot of scriptures written down today, and it was just a lot of verses.
It's like 4 pages.
I don't know. We've said so much. A lot of it is
13.
There's so much going on with the dragon and the that it's naming
similar.
it all and everything. Maybe that's it. But I do not remember this. Of course, our readings are a little bit
that's
different.
How I started, but
The beast out of the earth. No, you did 1 through. I know it was the 1 through is where it started at.
Yeah.
But we did not go any further.
Because even here it says, remember 1 through 18.
That's 17 though. We're in 13.
I mean, yeah,
that's the
ahead.
one I thought, but
okay.
All right, so let's just finish this. I've got on here the beast out of the earth. And then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns, because it's very descriptive and many different verses. Because we've already heard part of this. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. Okay, that was mentioned in there, right. And it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven and the earth in the full view of the people. Because of the signs, it was given power to perform on the behalf of the first beast. Oh my gosh! It deceived in the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. This is so weird. So I do remember you reading this, but I do not remember being right back there.
Maybe we just wrote the chapter number down wrong.
I don't know. This is so weird. We kind of got the same amount of verses written down, but it's just weird how we have whoa.
Yeah,
he does have a couple of videos that cover the same topic. One was done a year and a half ago, and then one was done 3 months ago. He has that on a couple of them that we've been doing. So maybe it got pulled, or maybe I watched one and you watched another, and that's how come our notes are kind of out of order or something.
Didn't I show you? It was the one with on the background of the thumbnail. There's yellow and
I don't know. I downloaded whatever one that you'd sent. So
maybe next time
weird.
I'll just send a link. So it's
super strange.
We watched the same one.
No, it was a link. Yeah,
was
you
it?
sent me the link. Yeah.
Huh.
Very strange. Or I think it was a link. No, it was just the words. That's right. Anyway.
So yeah.
So that was a lot. There's a lot involved in that one. So
yeah,
I just think it.
And if anybody has any questions, they can just write them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer. But basically, what we're trying to say is everyone is trying to normalize unity in religion for peace. But it's not what it seems.
Yeah, you can we can be respectful of somebody else's religion and say, okay, well, but the truth of the matter is the Bible says what it says, and
there's only one way.
Yeah, there's only one way. It doesn't say that you can, bend this saying to fit this, or we can't just start interlocking things because
don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, we don't want to offend anybody. We want to be inclusive to everybody. These are such off-putting words, but they literally have tried to what is that? Mean one thing, but it doesn't.
Oh, it contradicts?
Yeah, it just, they want it to come across as one way, but reality is it's not.
It directly contradicts the Bible.
Directly.
Yeah, and like I said before, if people don't read it, they don't know that it contradicts. They'll think it's fine, Yep. And basically, the times of Revelation are getting very close. All the signs are there, and it's being set up now. We just need to be prepared and look for it and get right with God now. And how you get right with God, you know, Tiff says this in his videos at the end of every one, which I love. Because I think the first time I was ever asked that question was from him. You know, like if you're right with God, and how to know that you are, because there's people that are like, well, how do I get right with him? You know, so how you do that is you recognize you're a sinner. You know, because all of us sin. It even says in the Bible that you know all fall short of the grace of God. Everybody sins. So you, me, pastors, everybody, nobody's perfect. And so, you know, you have to recognize that you're a sinner and you're not perfect. And that you need Jesus to save you, and that you recognize you're a sinner, you repent of your sin, which repent means to completely change your mind and go the opposite way. So you're going the wrong way, you need to repent and ask for forgiveness, tell him you're sorry is basically what that means, and change your mind and follow him and ask him to be in your life. Like that is how you do that. So he asks if there hasn't been a time in your life when you distinctly remember, like, recognizing you're a sinner, asking for forgiveness, like if there's not a distinct moment in your life where you remember doing that specifically, that you need to, because that is what's going to save you. The Bible says that you can't enter the kingdom of heaven without repenting, basically. And so, you know, all these people that, you know, because there's commercials for those movies of the rapture and stuff where people in church get left. And it's like, whoa, how is that? Like they're in church, you know?
I know.
And it's like, yeah, but did those people ever repent? You know, because if you sit in church on Sunday and you're singing hymns, but you're unrepentant, you're not fully.
Yeah. Or you're sitting in church and then you're going home and doing, you know.
Yeah. Tiff says something about things. Like, you know, living like hell Monday through Saturday, but Sunday you're. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it needs to be a change of mind, a change of heart. And I will tell you, I physically felt the change. Like when it's to the point where like I feel bad. Like if I watch certain movies now, it's like, that's how it should feel. Yeah. You should feel convicted of things that are wrong when you're born again and you have repented of your sin and you try and live a better life. Like you should feel different.
Even if you're not religious, having good morals, you basically should already feel that way. Or even, you know, having empathy and having compassion. Those should just be a human nature.
Just
you know, action. So I think it doesn't matter if you are religious or not religious. I think we all know how people should act, you know, and behave and not behave. You know, even and when we start doing exceptions and oh well, you're just so sweet and everything. Maybe we should give you, you know, that's not how it works.
Well, you know, like even with the 10 Commandments, like some of the 10 Commandments are literally just about being a moral human being. You shouldn't kill. You shouldn't steal. You shouldn't. Exactly. It's like. It's just like that's what most of those are. Is
and
just
what's wrong having them on the wall in a school? Yeah. So to just say that's a religious thing, that really blows my mind that they took them out of school. Whether they're commandments or rules, it doesn't matter. They're human.
Still good to make you like they're there to make you a decent human being.
Yeah.
And if you haven't noticed, the people that don't follow the 10 Commandments, like the people that do all those things, like they're pretty horrible people. You know, it makes sense when you think about it. Like does. They're there to guide.
It's a simplicity kind of thing, I think, and that's why
just common sense.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know. What do you all think?
Yeah, it was a pretty heavy topic.
Yeah.
And we'll look through the notebook and figure out what we want to do for next week to maybe make it a little lighter, see if there's anything fun. Unless, I don't know. I've mentioned this a few times, but if you guys want to, have in the comments, like maybe a subject in the Bible that you're curious about, or that you want us to talk about because you think it's interesting, or whatever. I have like a bunch of, this one's kind of cool. How old will we be in heaven?
Oh yeah, that would be a neat one to do.
Yeah, maybe that's a good one.
Let's try that one.
Since heaven is coming soon.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wonder about that.
But yeah, so we will try and do that maybe next week. How old will we be in heaven? Unless somebody has a specific topic, but we'll just plan for that. And I guess till next Friday.
Stay blessed.